What is going on, guys? My name is Tubby Emu, and I got a big important question to ask you. How should you book a legend? Let's not only talk about HBK, let's also talk about guys like Kurt Angle or people that we want to see back in the WWE eventually. How should they be booked? Now, I have this match with AJ Styles versus HBK. It was supposed to be at WrestleMania, but it was a good match, and I wanted to kind of show it off. Now, yeah, we're kind of missing some super high-flying spots because, HBK is a little bit older. So the way we were booking it was AJ Styles is this dominant guy who, just like when HBK came out last night to tell Roman Reigns, you don't know what you're getting in for, AJ treats it like he doesn't know what he's getting in for. He's cocky. He's walking around the ring. He's doing his thing. He's going to take some finishers from HBK, but since HBK is a little older, his finishers aren't going to have as much impact, as much devastation. But when guys like Kurt Angle come back, how are you booking them? What are they doing? When you had RVD come back and you saw what RVD could do. When you had the Dudley Boys come back. Now, a lot of people were surprised the way the Dudleys were booked. Bully Ray has now said that, Bully Ray has said, he was a day away from being the Bully Ray character, the top heel in TNA. And I was so excited for that because Bully Ray was fucking fantastic. If you didn't watch TNA or Impact Wrestling, Bully Ray was top notch. So I was really hoping for that, and then they went the Dudley Boy route. But they get it. They understand business is key. They understand they had a purpose coming back. They knew to put guys over. Other people look at it as, Jericho only comes back to put over other guys. Well, this is an industry. That's the way wrestling works. You put over other fucking people, and too many people are caught up into that. So even when guys like Bubba and Bully understand, you put over new guys. We fully understood our role. Had we been promised something else and gone back and then got, buried doing all that stuff, we would understand it. But we went back knowing full well we were going to put guys over. So if somebody like HBK comes back and you finally see HBK in the middle of a WWE ring again, are you more prone to be like, oh, he's just putting over new talents. He's just doing this. What would actually make you excited? Because, yes, I know everybody wants the dream match between HBK and Daniel Bryan. The student meets the teacher. Or AJ Styles versus Shawn Michaels. Because it, again, is a dream match. There's so many dream matches for HBK to possibly have. And people question, if he did come back, what would happen? And that's a big question to me because I think a guy like HBK would come back and put on a fantastic match. I have no doubt in my mind that HBK could be able to go. I think HBK is looking good, and I think he could absolutely put on, a great match, especially for like Undertaker style, once a year WrestleMania type match. But a lot of people would the nostalgia act of that being HBK offset the fact that he may not be doing what you want him to do? Like, think about that, honestly, like right there. Like, if you're not going to get the super, the normal Shawn Michaels that you're used to, the guy that, did some crazy shit, is that still the same thing to you? Like, when guys like Hulk Hogan, step back into the ring, and it's pretty much just a kick and a leg drop, brother. And I'm like, but that was always his gimmick. What are you talking about? It's always been Hulk Hogan. So I really wanted, like, a pop-up super kick out of this one, but you can see, for the most part, HBK is in control. AJ Styles is kind of on the outside. He's flirting death a little bit. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He's trying to stay relevant with HBK. And HBK, the guy that hasn't been here in forever, is finding a way to outsmart AJ Styles. And that's got to piss AJ Styles off. He's the best wrestler in the world. One of the best wrestlers in the world. And you have a guy that hasn't wrestled in 5 years coming back, and he's questioning himself. Like, whoa. I'm a champ that runs the camp, and I can't even keep up with a guy that hasn't wrestled in, 7 years? What the hell? And then he's questioning himself, and then so he's taking the finishers, like right here. He's going at it. He's going for that big super kick. And is he going to reverse it, or is he going to get hit with it? He gets hit with it. He couldn't stop it. Now, he should have been able to reverse it, but this is where then AJ Styles, boom, kicks out at one, and then HBK is doubting, whoa, my super kick, the thing that put everybody down at WrestleMania, the move that put people down and I won championships with now. What the hell? I can't actually finish the job. So HBK starts doubting himself in a match against AJ Styles. He goes for the big move one time in the match, and this is where AJ Styles should have been able to capitalize, possibly finish him off. So what would the matches be like when you see guys like Kurt Angle? I see a lot of people throwing out Kurt Angle possibly coming back. Well, what should Kurt Angle do? What should he come back to put somebody over? Should he come back to have a great match? Should he come back for one last championship run? Should it be like a dream match scenario with HBK? So regardless of what happens, you care. You're like, I don't care. It's HBK versus AJ Styles. It's Kurt Angle versus Daniel Bryan. It's Kurt Angle versus a top-name superstar in the WWE. That's all I care about. It's an A-list match. It's game over to me. Is that what you want? Or do you want some of these guys to come back and actually do big things? And that's the part that I think a lot of fans really kind of overestimate. Like when these come back, like I remember when Punk was doing his thing back in 2011, a little bit before that in 2010, people were complaining the fact that Legends came back. And now, because WWE, for the main roster people, for the most part, I mean, they're gotten a lot better, especially on SmackDown, making you care about the names that are carrying the show a little bit more, that aren't household marquee names. It's like Kevin Owens lost the title, and I asked friends, and they said, man, Goldberg's back? Holy shit, I'll probably watch Mania. Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, they're fighting for the championship? Hell yeah, I'll watch. But you ask them like a guy like Kevin Owens, they're like, who? And that's just the way it is because casual fans haven't watched in a while, so the nostalgia act brings them back. Now, that does beg the question, should something like Brock Lesnar and Goldberg, the nostalgia act, be for the championship? Or should they come back in a role like HBK? Should they come back in a role where I see Kurt Angle coming back, where maybe he comes back just to manage, and then somebody keeps pushing him into a match? Kurt's like, no, I'm not going to fight you, man. I'm 50 years old. He can sell the fact that he can't go for a couple months. And finally at SummerSlam, about a month before, he just snaps. And he just angle slams somebody, and he takes him out. So he's getting pressured into a match. Let's say somebody like Owens, or I don't know, just name anybody on the roster you love. And he wants to fight him. And Kurt's like, for like one more match thing. And Kurt's like, man, I'm 50. Like, I appreciate it. Maybe as a GM type role. Like, Mick Foley could bring him back as an advisory GM. And then he's like, man, I'm 50. I'm however old I am. I know I could still wrestle, but I'm gonna let you young cats do it, man. I'm not gonna fight. And then people keep going after him. People keep trying to like take out Kurt Angle in some way, shape, or form. So finally, Kurt just snaps. Kurt just grabs him, and that big pop you would get from that Olympic slam. You would just see Kurt Angle hoist that person up, and you'd be like, oh, it's happening, right? And so if he finally has the match at SummerSlam, even if he loses, he was prodded into the match. He didn't want to do it. Or if he did come back, he could have a victory, and then you wait till somebody else is willing to step up and challenge him so you can stall another 6 months. So something with the Kurt Angle, I think this is how you could possibly book Kurt Angle in a way, is have Kurt Angle do his gimmick where, you know, he doesn't want to wrestle. Maybe he's like wrestling like American Alpha or managing them, or maybe he's the GM or an advisory role in some way, shape, or form. And people keep trying to prod him into a match. So he comes and shows the young gun at SummerSlam, and he wins at SummerSlam. That gives him big credibility. So all year, he's not wrestling, he's not being in it. But come time for WrestleMania, you're like, yo, listen, young blood, if you're stepping up to me, maybe somebody from NXT, look what happened. So you could have somebody on the current roster try to step up to Kurt Angle, which is a dream match. And then you have somebody from NXT, though, step up, and then they could beat Kurt Angle, and that helps put over a new generation. I think that would be a great way to utilize Kurt Angle, and I'd love to know your opinion on that. Do you guys like that? I think that would be cool, where he's kind of getting prodded into a match. He's like, man, listen, I'm not fighting you. It ain't happening, Captain. Like, just back off. And then they just keep pushing, and finally he's like, fine. And then he beats a guy, right? And then when it comes time to actually face a bigger person, maybe an NXT, somebody to put over, maybe like a Nakamura or some big name in some way, shape, or form, Kurt can fall and realize, I don't need to fight anymore. Like, I went after the dominant guy, but now this guy, he's my guy, man. He beat me. He did it. And that way you get the two big Kurt Angle matches that you wanted in the WWE, and it helps put over talent, versus a guy like when Jericho first came back, it was loss, right? You can give him a win, and you can stretch it out, especially with Kurt, because I don't want to see Kurt every month. Like, Kurt Angle is a special attraction, and I would love to see him actually wrestle, don't get me wrong, but when you think about it, like, Kurt stepping back into the ring should mean something. It should be to put a guy over. It should be huge. It should be a monumental moment, and I think that's where they could properly use a guy like Kurt Angle. Now, let's think about HBK. I think in a match like this where HBK, again, is cocky, he's cocky. AJ Styles is kind of cocky. HBK is like, you know, not able to finish the job. And then ultimately, AJ Styles, like with John Cena, he can hit one finisher out of nowhere to finish off HBK, and it would be believable like this right here. It's the third one. It's over. There's no way AJ can't get up from 3 Sweet Chin Music. But then he reverses it, and then boom, right into AJ Styles' finisher. And he plants HBK for the 1, 2, 3. Is that how it should go down? Let me know in the comment section below. How would you book Kurt Angle and HBK's return to the WWE? I'm interested. Let's hear the stories. Let's hear the fantasy bookings. Oh, did you think we were over yet? Not just yet. AJ Styles, the defiant one finisher out of nowhere. You know what, HBK? You come into my yard. I am the champ that runs the camp, baby. I'm going to shut you down and shut you up, something like that. And he goes after HBK. Nobody's willing to make this save. Maybe somebody does make the save, which sets off his next feud. But AJ Styles just dominating HBK. Got dominated most of the match. Made HBK look fantastic. But out of nowhere, AJ Styles hit his finisher. It set Shawn Michaels down. And then comes time to finally put the man through a table, doing an unspeakable act to a legend, doing something that makes your name step out. The guy that decimated Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels had the upper hand. It kind of gives some doubt. Maybe HBK could fight him again. Maybe HBK could see a rematch down the line. He almost hit 3 finishers on him. And then a guy like AJ Styles doing the dominant thing, putting him through a table and sending a message. But that's not it just yet. No. And then he gets a chair. Then he's just beating him. And then you could have somebody like Triple H. Maybe at the pay-per-view, Triple H and the Authority weren't there. They weren't there to back up his best friend. And then Triple H comes out, AJ, what you did to Shawn Michaels. And then he wants to face him at WrestleMania, AJ Styles versus Triple H. And that's what they could do. They could do this at Royal Rumble, and Triple H isn't there. And he's doing his gimmick, and he's beating him down. And it could lead to something huge with a guy that could actually still wrestle. But you get that one-time dream match. He finally puts him back in the ring. People want to see it. He didn't get to do it all match. He didn't get to do the phenomenal forearm. And then, when you want it the most, in the middle of the ring, he could have pop-up super kicked him to send him off. That would have been the best way to book it, but I could. You can't pop-up super kick at the end. So let me know. How would you book it?